Okay, today is December 22nd, 22. Been a heyday all day. Um, okay. I went up. I had a doctor's appointment. Okay. Went up to Warren. Stopped. You have to go through the edge of Ravenna. So I pulled over, played my tapes, gave my statement. Went over and got gas. Some guy looked over and said, "None of this is funny." Well, no, it's not. It's not. Okay. So I told him about it's the week of the anniversary of the gunshot night from 4 years ago. Okay. Well, I leave and I go down to Acme Click, and it's actually, I think, one or two people just said something real small and walked off. Nothing bad, horrible. I go to leave, two women, and they're out in the parking lot. They're like, we all know those people think it's funny making fun of her, and it's not. Okay. Or how did they put it? We all know they think it's funny hurting people. That's how they put it. We all know those people think it's funny hurting people. That's why they're doing it, and it's not. That's how they put it. Okay, I leave. I go to one other store, then I go to Walmart 62. The hair salon. Okay. There's one girl. She is a little heavier set, sandy brown hair and blue eyes. We were talking about how they lied on my son Danny and his wife Jen, that they were helping Dave by lying on me for the shower scene. I told him about, and they knew nothing, and how we were talking about. I said, they knew nothing. It's just a hurricane of lies. I said, it's something though. I said, that Michelle was telling you about her dad works the case. He's the one stealing all the money um, from the case. And I said, remember all those men sitting outside and blocking the doors when I get my haircut here? She's like, yeah. I said, I actually called the FBI on them, and that was me being in protected custody. I'm still supposed to be. I said, and being in one of the witness protection programs, I said I was supposed to get 5,000 a month, at 60 grand a year, and I'm going over everything. And I said, you know what the law is about embezzlement? If you withhold it, it's embezzling. She said, well, of course it is. I said, if you misdirect it, then the person it was meant for, it's embezzling. She said, I know it is. She said, they can't even stop it from coming into you. I said, I know that. I said, I never got a dime, and that agent promised me money. He was bullying me like crazy on the phone. And I said, the law is under $100. It's like up to a year in prison, and anything over 1,000 is 5 years to 30 years in prison. They don't mess with people stealing from the federal government and for things that are meant for victims. I said, they've been talking about, I was telling her all these different times how they know he's just stealing from the case. I said, it's that Michelle that Dave was dating. I said, they caused this hurricane of lies. And I told her what I do for a living. I told her about what happened with that Krista from Faith Family Church, the counselor following me around, and then da 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 da. And I said, I told my daughter-in-law and my son, they're like, how could they even fall for that? Do they not know what you do for a living? She's like, Karen, you can't even have an accusation. I said, I know that. Because what I do is considered nursing aid. I take care of the handicapped. So where all these people were running around lying, all the police knew they were lying before. That's why nobody said anything. Okay? And they found that old man showing up saying he date rape drugged me and told me to say a bunch of crazy stuff, and he worked for Dave, and they were going to try to list me a weirdo the first month, and it was their plan. Like they said, one of my guys said, we found out some old ass was drugging up heroin before. Where I had the bruises, the hand marks, and they were date rape drugging me. The guys that showed up for every idle word, you telling us I'll turn it on you, you trying to leave Dave, I'll list you, da 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 da. And then made up that weird lie about wrong nightgown and saying they see my butt when they only made fun of the back of my knees, and Dave verified I didn't own that nightgown. Nothing bad happened years and years ago, and I was on the phone with him, and he was lying. He was using sodium pentothal on me. Sodium pentothal is a lethal outlaw drug that you'll actually lie under in spy flick movie stuff, and they came out they were date rape drugging me. It's not funny doing that to a human being. So going forward, yeah, they already knew they had me drugged and framed within the first month. Okay. That's where the security guard, December 9, 21, white man bald with dark eyes, distributing food at the Stark County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street. He actually was one of my guards. Showed up and said we always knew the tapes before with them and not her, so we never said a word. Can't please talk to him and Ed at the Oakland apartment on Cleveland Avenue. I told that lady in the hair salon that too. And I said all kinds of people, including my client's neighbor on Shepler Church Road, that all those tapes before were drugged and photoshopped. I said, you know, when you guys were doing my hair and I curled up in a ball, I said, I could hear him mocking out there. And I said, I couldn't see him. I said, do you know, he's a wanted stalker from the Massillon police. He's out there. All the tapes are for her and me and not her. Ha, 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 ha. It was my idea to come up with it. It was my idea to say it. It was my idea to do it. Ha, 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 ha. For all these people to fall for it and all these people to turn on. And they actually went along with it. It was only me doing it. Ah! The guy's like, well, if it's only you, I could even fix it. He's like, I know it's still that bad and they all did it. Ha, ha, ha. They went along with it. Okay? Jackass. Jackass. I've been tortured and he's out there laughing like an asshole. Well, that's November 18, 22. Walmart 62 by the hair salon. 2 to 6 p.m. Screaming it out. And I said, that's why I curled up in balls. She's like, I thought, because they had messed up my hair and they were fixing it. She said, I thought you were mad at all of us. I said, no. I said, I clenched. I said, do you know what it's like? I woke up with hand marks. I woke up with bruises. And I told her about, if you Google what date rape drugs are, injectables, ketamine, rufinol, profanol, and ecstasy, and you're sleepwalking. You know, I explained to her how it chemically shuts down your brain. And I told her about the other people that I've known that got roofied. It's not funny doing that to a human being. And she said, it's not. And I said, him standing out there, and I only woke up with bruises. Laughing that it was all him and photoshopping that shower scene and having people come up and say stuff, and my kids didn't even know about it. I said, and then lying on them, so I went and talked to him. It's not funny. She said, Karen, if you would have said something, we both would have ran out and took care of him. Yeah, the craziest hairdresser at Walmart, those sweet ladies would have took care of that crazy man. November 24, 22, I had food poisoning on Thanksgiving. I ended up in the emergency room, okay, of Mercy Medical in Canton, Ohio. Under tape and audio, the nurse, because they tape and audio through the hospital for medical practice, November 24, 22 in the evening, the nurse taking care of me, she walks out. Now there's a lady officer walking around. I think they were talking to him. No one will say a word to her after we heard that. Eric make fun of us for falling for this. And the lady replied, you know, the agent that bullied her into saying she was lying when she wasn't. I found out those many ran experiments on her up there, and they need to realize how not funny this is. Nobody's actually even said a bad word about her before. Because they found the other one stating, like Sheriff John said, January 12, 22, one of those kids got caught stating they were making everything up. To Flora, they said, you know, the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shaw and Papa, and Grandma needs to get out. Then later on to Flora, we're making everything up. They're games of pretend. Massillon Police, they're documenting in games of pretend. See that agent to steal the witness protection program money, and that's what all this is about. He had to open the informant case, put me in protected custody, and the money that he promised me, and for everything, he stole it all for himself. I'm supposed to get free housing, free living expenses, my $60,000 a year, and 60 grand a year, and a medical card, all kinds of stuff. I got nothing, except for police surveillance at home. No, they can only be in a home under a threat of life. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life, and they have to speak to everyone before they start or abuse and misconduct. It goes into the right of privacy, illegal search and seizure. Plus, you have a right to remain quiet. You have a right to an attorney. You have a right to a fair and speedy court trial. You have a right not to be mistreated and a freedom of speech. And then there's badgering laws about people, agents, and officers pulling you. Department of Justice 1729. The embezzlement laws are S640, 641 under the Department of Justice. They go to jail for any of this. This is just my ex-husband's girlfriend's family, Michelle, where he met her in the store. He was an agent out of his area with retired Judge Pete, and they're dirty friends and family. setting this up so they could steal from the witness protection program. When I was in Ravenna, I went in that gas station to use the bathroom. Some guy was on the phone. Judge Pete is sick over this, finding out that all those tapes were that guy. It actually was him. They were talking about in the gas station. So I'm down there talking to the girl that does my hair, and I've known her for years. She remembers them blocking the doors. I said, that was me being in a protected custody case. I said, I'm still supposed to be there. I said, that Michelle that Dave was dating, her dad worked the case, and he stole all the money. I said, he stole over $300,000 from my case. I said, that money was meant for me and to take care of me. And I said, I got nothing. She said, I hope they get him. Well, I go and I said, you remember all those men blocking the doors? And she's like, I remember them there. And we're talking, and I said, I was in protected custody. I'm still supposed to be. I go to leave to shop around Walmart. Some guy comes up and said, they sent me down here. Everybody's been saying they didn't know what's going on. And that girl knew about all that? Is that what, and he's on the phone. He's like, is that what's going on? She's in protected custody. I can take care of this then. He walks off. Probably another actor. I'll tell you what. They're not from the feds. Because I worked in a bank. This is to the point. I worked in a bank. I could put your social in, and it pulls up every account you had. And then if it's a really old account, take someone in the back with a password to open up, and it shows everybody that ever logged into your account, anybody did a transaction. And it keeps track of it. Because you have to log into your terminal. And it timestamps it. So where I called, my social will bring up that account of where he opened the protected custody case. They were already talking. What was it, yesterday? Just because that agent bullied her, didn't give a right for nobody not to help her up there. I'll tell you what, I was up there and there were sheriffs everywhere. And I told them, they're driving by and I know they can hear me. I'm telling them, I said, they tried to frame you guys so that they come arrest all of you. That you're actually kicking in people's doors, photoshopping scenes, stalking them, and date rape drugging them. I said, one of your officers said you had no knowledge of what's going on and you had no idea. And of them being in my home or anybody else's home and what they're saying they did is illegal. It is. It's just the agent. Okay, I lived in Portage County. I didn't know who to call. So I called the 1-800 FBI hotline. We'll have an agent call you back. And then I told you how I couldn't get out of bed because they were drugging me up. And then the guy telling on me before. I Googled who was over Portage County. It's Akron. There's no way on earth a Stark County FBI task force in the courthouse of Stark County would ever call me back. But I Googled where he said he was, and I found him. Because I didn't believe he was real, as mean as he was to me. He was there. Why was he there? Because he was pulling it off the hotline out of his area because Dave was already dating his daughter. Where they said it was his daughter before, then they tried to say it was retired Judge Pete. He's some kind of friends and family. And these are their retired family. They're friends. And most of the people doing this are senior citizens. Well, acting like the mafia down here. And they're dirty kids. I told you, some girl said she broke up with some guy. That they talked her into going out and basically Jezebeling herself. So, and they talked me into going out with him. And so that I could talk him into going along with this. Then I found out what they did to her. And I told him I never want to see him again. And I'll tell on him that he's part of it. She knows who he is. She hasn't mentioned him in a while because she hadn't seen him. And that's why he's purposely staying away from her. And then I got to thinking, who have I not seen? The white-haired guy with his hair parted on the side. Dixie's seen him. Darlene's seen him. John's seen him. Some guy said his name's Alex or Alec. There's a guy that looks just like him, too. Bill from the Freemasons. They look like Judge Pete. Okay? Enough to be his kids. Then there's that Henry Moffey from Facebook, Instagram, started texting me, thought I was pretty soon as they tried to kill me. Huh? Then there is that Indian family. There's a young Indian guy, said he was a doctor. His name's Henry, and it looks like his dad or an older relative. Said they were doctors running around. Huh? Hmm? Yeah. See, it's so ridiculous that a Stark County FBI task force would get some in Portage County. They're not even over that area. Be like somebody in Cincinnati. That's why I asked them to pull somebody from down here. They've been yelling that. Everybody knew that guy was stealing from the case, and nobody said a word to me. They all knew it. They said it December 2nd, 22, 11 to 12:30 in Wendy's Alliance while I have my day program. The guy's like, is that the one that church tried to have killed? He said, yes. He said, I heard she didn't get a dime out of this. He said, no. She's out working for everything that she has. And it's that one guy from the case stealing every dime for herself, and they all knew it. Huh? December 2nd, 22. November 11th, 22, they yell it out on Maslin Street on 3rd Street. This last Sunday, December 18th, 22, at Trinity Gospel Temple, I go to leave, and that lady's like, you know who was here? It was Karen Will, the FBI informant. She was mocking me. She was talking with this other lady real loud. She's like, everybody knows what's going on except for the guy she's with, and we're not allowed to say a word because he don't know. Okay? And they said, do you realize then who else was here? And I mentioned one thing where they even admitted they knew. Everybody was lying on me. The mean games of pretend. And that one girl telling them off in Dollar General in May or June of 19. That thin girl lady that went out with some fat, ugly guy, old guy. He went out with her instead of me. It's like, go for it, honey. And making up, yeah. And then showing up with cheesy long hair extensions. And yeah, she showed up and told him, you tell that Steve to leave her alone. They already knew all the kids were lying a long time ago. And and she's telling him off in Dollar General in front of people. That lady's like, I found that tape of that lady. About the time she said it'd be there, I found that tape of that lady, and them acknowledging they knew the kids were lying. Well, they always did. They have told everybody I was innocent since 18 and 19. We were never interested in you, trust me. Because like Sheriff John said, January 12th, 22 at Walgreens North Main, while getting a COVID virus shot at 4:58 p.m., one of those kids get caught stating they made everything up. Like Flora said, October 23rd, 2019 in the evening. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. She's 7. Yeah. I taped Dixie admitting of knowing the mean game of pretend. And with her permission, and this is the week of the gunshot night where Dave got caught with shooters and I had to hide not to get killed. And I got tortured trying to help a lady that said her husband died up there. 4 years ago this week, I had to hide not to get murdered. It's a lot of feelings coming back. Sadness, horror. You just want to curl up in a ball and weep. I had to cry, and it takes everything in me not to do that. Because you just want to scream and cry. I almost got killed that night. And I had already almost been shot driving past 6 stalkers inside Walmart 62. The Walmart Canton police the Canton police work inside Walmart, help work Karen around the house state case, or Karen's will, started September 27th or 28th of 18, protected home custody for an informant, like the one older African-American lady that works in Walmart 62. That's the one the police take care of. They take turns. One of them watch or listen to me every day. Maslin police have worked the case since the beginning because they put a threat on Dixie and the baby's life, plus my kids are there. And the one African American officer, when I got bumped in March of 19, got in his walkie-talkie, told Bruce, I'll take care of Karen while she's in town. He was over the drug and gang unit. Like they said, we all know Karen's a victim of a cult that drugged her and tried to kill her before. Victim. And these people are making fun of victims. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. I'm hoping somebody shows up. Everybody needs to be on FBI submit a tip, where that one girl said that she broke up with some guy because she knew that some lady said, well, he would do it to you. What he did to her. She's like, I know that. I told him I'll tell on him. She better tell on him, because he will do it to her and torture her and then warn her to stay quiet. Unless you've ever been tortured and raped, you don't know the levels of fear. You can't get away. And they're coward bastards. They'll drug you so you can't move or fight back. They're that kind of sick, demonic bastards. She better tell. And these people think it's funny hurting victims, because they're stealing from the witness protection program and handing out little trinkets and things to help them make fun of victims. They think it's funny for a $50 shirt or $20 worth of gas that they'll terrorize victims. They're mentally ill, and that are helping out in this, and they're not smart enough to be afraid of people running this like the mafia. This is not the law. I have never been accused of wrongdoing. I've never been prosecuted. I've never found guilty. They made everything up. Just like they lied on my son, Danny and Jen, for helping out in this. And they knew nothing. Absolute nothing. Because like they said, the police said if they would have known anything, they would have arrested him. Yeah, having my door kicked in, have me date rape, drug, photoshopping is asinine. My kids have been punching him in the face. John, Danny, or Josh. What do you mean you're the one that kicked in my mom's door? You were stalking my mom and dad? You drugged my mother? And they'd punch him in the face. Are you the reason they broke up? You better not. And they would be all over him. All you see is fist. Because what would you do if somebody did that to your mother? Are you the reason they broke up? Did you? Yeah, they would turn everything on them. And the police better arrest you and da-da-da. Yeah, they'd be all over these bastards. You got to think about that. That's why John asked me to babysit. What was it, September, October 19th? Because they were just Melissa's mean games of pretend. Because she wanted to impress Michelle. For the house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa. And Grandma needs to get out. Then later on the floor, we're making everything up. Like John said, they were only going to make up something because of the divorce. It can't be anything bad. My God, it was bad. They didn't know what they were saying. They were little. It was a lot of sick, mean games of pretend. That Michelle and her sick family, we didn't even talk like that. We were better people than they were. We didn't even talk about stuff like that in front of the kids. Mental illness and evil. You know, they said the men that hurt women like this, when I took Danny to counseling when he was a teenager, they said men that hurt women are usually gay, denying their lust for other men and taking it out on women. That are their child molesters and taking it out on women. Or they're womenizers and they can't deny their lust for other women, and so the woman that they can't have, they'll abuse. So basically, I got homosexual child molesters coming after me. I laughed at the counselor that said that. She said, Karen, it's not funny. It's a proven fact. We did studies in jails. The men that hurt women, they have one of the three things wrong with them. And that's why they hurt women, because it's not normal. It's a sociopath disorder or psychopath disorder, where a sociopath has created that it's okay to hurt and kill people by their environment, okay? Where a psychopath, that part of their brain of feeling sympathy, empathy, and remorse, it actually don't light up and it doesn't work, but they can feel happy and excitement. It makes them happy and excited to hurt people. It's an emotion of thrill, okay? Because they can't feel remorse, they can't feel empathy, and they can't feel sympathy, okay? That's the kind of people that are hurting me. Serial killers. The agent that called me back, retired Judge Pete, their dirty friends in the store of Ravenna, were setting me up to steal. Because they could have killed me at any time. But they wanted to keep me alive so they could embezzle from the federal government. Like they said, November 20th, 22, Trinity Gospel Temple again in the bathroom. Women come in, my phone's tapped. It's about them stealing from the case. They said it clear out in Pennsylvania at Crown X. My dad feels horrible. He realizes it's just them stealing from the case. Huh? They yelled it out in Maslin. They yelled it in Canton. It is just, they've stolen over 300,000 from my case alone. I never got a dime. And every month I'm alive, they get 5,000 to 10,000 due for my care, at least.